Hey everybody, it's Chris again. I have 3 discs for you today. They're the 2016 Trilogy Challenge discs. So I have the Dynamic Discs Marshal in prime plastic, the Westside discs Sling in tournament plastic, and the Latitude 64, according to dictionary.com, Falchion in optoplastic. It's a fairway control driver. So what I'm going to do is actually go through these discs one at a time. I'll start with the Dynamic Discs Marshal, talk to you a little bit about it, and then show you the video of me throwing it, and then move on to the other ones. So, hope you enjoy. Okay, so the first disc up is the Dynamic Discs Marshal. This is in prime plastic. First thing you're going to notice about this disc is that there is micro beads. So for someone like me who likes a beaded putter, it fits great in the hand. And I'm thinking that maybe even for non-beaded putter throwers, it's small enough that it might not be a problem, but you'll have to check it out for yourself. This will be a 2-part review. I'm going to talk about how it threw and then show you the video. And I'm going to tell you how it putted for me. But as I always say when I comment on putting things, putting is very personal. So although this putter might work really well for me, you should definitely try it for yourself. Alright, so throwing. All the throws that you're going to see are about 80%. I wanted to make sure they were all controlled. I throw a lot of putter approaches, and I very rarely go all out with my putters and approaches, so this was pretty within the realms of what I would throw. You're going to see 2 approaches that were fairly straight, like I would throw in the woods if it was not necessarily a tunnel, but if I was just trying to get up to close to a basket. You're going to see 1 throw on a high hyzer release. It's like if I'm going around a bush that's close to a tree, or if I wanted to spike down fast next to it. And then also a high anhyzer release if I had to maybe go around the outside of a tree and then have it dump down. All 3 of those throw types finished very close to where I would have hoped they threw. You're going to see on the low releases a very beautiful low line that settles. The second of those releases is going to be a little bit outside and the right. That was my fault, not the discs. The hyzer release you're going to see holds that beautiful line, spikes down and skips a little bit. And the anhyzer, like I said, turns, stalls out, or doesn't stall, comes out or fights out of it and finishes forward. All 3 were lines that I was trying to predict, and they were pretty close, so big fan. I think this is going to be an intriguing throwing putter for a lot of people. I don't know if it'll displace the judge for me just because I connect well with the judge, but definitely one that's worth giving a shot. On the putting side, this disc is built a lot like something I used to throw. The familiarity was almost instant. I was hitting a very high percentage of my putts, and I put on a marksman, so that's always a plus. To the point where I'm actually considering maybe not bagging these, but giving these a good run against the judges to see which putter I'll be throwing in the future. So if you're interested, or if you're having trouble with your putter, this might be a good one for you to try out. I think a lot of people who have been going back and forth, this might be the solution to what Next up is the Westside Disc Sling. This is a low profile mid with a little bit of dome and a very short wing. What I found was whether I power gripped or fan gripped this disc, it was very controllable. I could see this disc being amazing in the woods. What you're going to see on the video is when I threw it flat and straight, it went flat and straight. When I gave it height, it went straight until it got to the end, and then it stalled out at the very end and didn't finish too far left. If I was trying to go around a corner, you're going to see a couple hyzer release throws. It holds that beautiful line, goes up, comes down, finishes left. And when I gave it anhyzer, I did 2 different throws. One was high, like I was trying to get up around a corner, and one was low, like I was trying to hold the trees. But the second throw, I actually threw too low, and what you're going to see is it did exactly what it should with the release that I gave it. It went down and cut rolled. To me, that actually gave me a lot of confidence in this disc for wooded stuff. It, like I said, I put it on a line, it held it. Whether it was a good line, that was up to me, but the disc held the line. I would compare it to what people have said about the Compass, one of those hold the disc lines. I found it to be a little more more stable than I expected. I think it's going to be a very intriguing mid-range, especially for you Westside disc fans. Very intriguing for the woods. So, there you go. Last but not least, I have the Latitude 64 Falchion. This is to me, understable fairway or control driver. It felt a lot like one of my beat-in escapes. You'll see when I throw it flat, it turns right and finishes right. When I threw it with a hyzer release, it flipped up and actually finished. One of them finished a little bit right, and the other one finished pretty close to center. And then the beautiful flight for me was the tall anhyzer. It just seemed like that was what the disc was made for. It turned over beautifully, flared over to the right, and then settled down softly. To me, that was a great around the corner for people around here. Would have been a perfect tee shot for Lakewood hole 7 on the long tee. For those who aren't around here, that won't make sense, but it's a hole that requires you to get through a gap and around a corner to set up a second shot to possibly get a 3 on a pretty difficult hole. And I could see this getting around the corner beautifully. I mean, it looks like it's what it was built for. I think the slower arms are going to find it to be a lot straighter, and obviously the bigger arms are going to get closer to a roller. For me, I think I could have rolled these if I tried at all, but I didn't want to torque them over. I wanted to get flights so that you could see how they went in the air. Those are the 3 discs. The Falchion, understable fairway or control. Sling, a very controllable mid-range. I think it's going to be awesome in the woods. And the Marshal, which I think is going to be a super intriguing putter for a lot of people out there. As always, if you have any questions or want disc comparisons, feel free to ask. I'll do what I can to compare for you. If I don't know, hopefully other people will chime in. And if there's anything out there that you want reviewed, as always, put it in the comments and we'll see what we can do. Have a good night.